Hello again, everyone present here. Jai Bhim to all of you. I welcome you on behalf of Global NRI Forum this evening. Thank you for joining us here this evening. It's Friday night, and I think you all could be anywhere else, but you chose to be here with us. So I really appreciate it. And you decided to spend this evening with us. It's an honor for all of us. Thank you all. A few days back, we celebrated India's 75th Independence Day. And we are going to have, we would like to sing national anthem. But before that, we wanted to get to USA's national anthem. So I request all of you to stand up for the national anthem.
Bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, take us that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave. On the shore dimly seen through the mists of the deep, where the foes of the host in dread silence reposes. What is that which the breeze on the towering steep, as it fitfully blows, half conceals, half discloses? Now it catches the gleam of the morning's first beam, in full glory reflected, now shines on the stream. 'Tis the star-spangled banner, oh, long may it wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, see it ever when freemen shall stand between their long walls, and while war's desolation bless the victory and peace, may the then rescued land praise the power that hath made and preserved us a nation. They cross the river when our cause is done, and is the arm of the victor is our trust, and the stars
Thank you, everyone. Next in the event, as I said, we celebrated India's 75th Independence Day a few days back. So in the spirit of the day and to remember all those who sacrificed for freedom, we would like to sing India's national anthem. I would like to call on stage lead singer Mayaji Chauhan, and the chorus includes Dolly, Mahesh, Ashokji, Ramesh, Dantaila, Vijaya, Venugopal, Sanjay Sir, Pallavi, and Venkat. Stage, right?
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाए तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद
भारत माता की
जय
Thank you, everyone. For tonight, the next event is Mayaji Chauhan's Patriotic Song. So Mayaji is going to sing a patriotic song for us. So this song states everything that we love about India. It states about how beautiful the culture is. So Mayaji, please, you're welcomed on the stage.
तो जय भीम गाना बहुत पुराना है ये तो थोड़ा ध्यान से सुनो सिकंदर आजम फिल्म का गाना है ये जहाँ डाल डाल पर सोने की चिड़िया करती है बसेरा ओ भारत देश है मेरा ओ भारत देश है मेरा जहाँ डाल डाल पर सोने की चिड़िया करती है बसेरा ओ भारत देश है मेरा, ओ भारत देश है मेरा। यहाँ धरती हो जहाँ ऋषि मुनि जपते हरि नाम की माला, जहाँ हर बालक एक मोहन है और राधा एक बाला, और राधा एक बाला। जहाँ सूरज सबसे पहले आकर डाले अपना डेरा, ओ भारत देश है मेरा, ओ भारत देश है मेरा। जहाँ गंगा जमुना कृष्ण और कावेरी बहती जाए, ओ भारत देश है मेरा। जय भारती, जय भारती, जय भारती, जय भीम।
Wonderful, Mayaji. Thank you so much. We have very talented singers tonight with us. So the next performance is also a song from Vijay and Nagraj. It's a patriotic song in Telugu language. So can we please have Vijay and Nagraj on the stage? Oh, sorry, my bad. It's Vinay.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. We're going to sing a song called Punya Bhumi Nadesham Namo Namami from a Telugu movie that happens to be the last movie of a very famous matinee idol, N.T. Rama Rao, who hailed from Telugu film industry. The song goes like this. पुण्यभूमि नादेशं नमो नमामि धन्यभूमि नादेशं सदा स्मरामि नन्नुगन्ननादेशं नमो नमामि अन्नपूर्णनादेशं सदा स्मरामि महामहुलकन्न तल्लिनादेशं మహోజ్వలిత చరిత కన్న భాగ్యోదయ దేశం నా దేశం పుణ్యభూమి నా దేశం నమో నమామి ధన్యభూమి నా దేశం సదా స్మరామి
అదిగో ఛత్రపతి ధ్వజమెత్తిన ప్రజాపతి మతోన్మాద శక్తులు చురకత్తులు జులిపిస్తే మానవతుల మాంగల్యం మంట గలుపుతుంటే ఆ క్షుద్ర రాజకీయానికి రుద్ర నేత్రుడై లేచి మాతృభూమి నుదిటిపై నెత్తుటి తిలకం దిద్దిన మహావీరుడు సార్వభౌముడు.
అడుగో హరిభయంకరుడు కట్ట బ్రహ్మణ, అది వీర పాండ్య వంశాంకుర సింహ గర్జన. అడుగో హరిభయంకరుడు కట్ట బ్రహ్మణ, హరి వీర పాండ్య వంశాంకుర సింహ గర్జన. ఒరేయ్, ఎందుకు కట్టాలిరా శిస్తు? నారు పోసావా, నీరు పెట్టావా, కోత కోసావా, కుప్ప నూర్చావా? ఒరేయ్ తెల్ల కుక్క, కష్టజీవుల ముష్టి మెతుకులు బ్రతికే నీకు శిస్తెందుకు కట్టాలిరా అని పెళ పెళ సంకెళ్ళు దెంచి స్వరాజ్య పోరాటమెంచి ఉరి కొయ్యల ఉగ్గు పాలు తాగాడు. కన్న భూమి ఒడిలోనే ఒరిగాడు. పుణ్యభూమి నా దేశం నమో నమామి, ధన్యభూమి నా దేశం సదా స్మరామి. నన్ను గన్న నా దేశం నమో నమామి, అన్నపూర్ణ నా దేశం సదా స్మరామి.
అదిగదిగో అదిగదిగో ఆకాశం భళ్ళున తెల్లారి వస్తున్నాడదిగో మన అగ్గి పిడుగు అల్లూరి.
అగ్గి పిడుగు అల్లూరి.
ఎవడు రానా భరత జాతిని తత్వమడిగిన కుచ్చుడు, ఎవడు ఎవడా పొగరు పట్టిన తెల్ల దొరగాడెవ్వడు. బ్రతుకు తెరువుకు దేశమొచ్చి బానిసలుగా మమ్ము నెంచి పన్నులడిగే కొమ్ములొచ్చిన దమ్ములెవడికి వచ్చెరా. బడుగు జీవులు బగ్గుమంటే ఉడుకు నెత్తురు ఉప్పెనైతే ఆ చంద్ర నిప్పుల తాండ్రగొడ్డలి పన్ను గడపతి చూడరా.
అన్నా మన్నెందొర అల్లూరిని చుట్టుముట్టి మంది మార్బళమెట్టి మరఫిరంగులెక్కుబెట్టి 100 గుళ్ళు ఒక్కసారి పేల్చితే వందే మాతరం, వందే మాతరం, వందే మాతరం, వందే మాతరం, వందే మాతరం అన్నది ఆకాశం. ఆజాద్ హింద్ ఫౌజ్ దళపతి నేతాజీ, అఖండ భరత జాతి కన్న మరో శివాజీ. సాయుధ సంగ్రామమే న్యాయమని, స్వతంత్ర భారతావని మన స్వర్గమని, ప్రతి మనిషొక సైనికుడై ప్రాణార్పణ చేయాలని హిందూ ఫౌజు జై హిందని గడిపాడు. గగన సిగలకెగసి కనుమరుగైపోయాడు.
జోహార్ జోహార్
సుభాష్ చంద్ర బోస్, జోహార్ జోహార్ సుభాష్ చంద్ర బోస్. గాంధీజీ కళలు కన్న స్వరాజ్యం సాధించే సమరంలో అమర జ్యోతులై వెలిగే ధృవతారల కన్నది ఈ దేశం. చరితార్థుల కన్నది నా భారతదేశం. నా దేశం పుణ్యభూమి నా దేశం నమో నమామి, ధన్యభూమి నా దేశం సదా స్మరామి. నన్ను గన్న నా దేశం నమో నమామి, అన్నపూర్ణ నా దేశం సదా స్మరామి. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Fabulous. Thank you. Now, I would like to invite Venkat Maraju, one of the organizers of this event, to say a few words about today's meeting and the context for tonight.
Thank you, Sujata. Okay. First, I want to welcome you all to today's evening. on behalf of Global NRI Forum for sharing this valuable Friday evening with us. And this Global NRI Forum actually we formed when Dr. Praveen Kumar was just heard that he was going to enter politics even before he really revealed which party or anything. So he has a tremendous, you can call it a fan base, admirers and followers in United States and also other parts of the country. So we formed this, and within a year, actually, we are able to organize these meetings like these in 10 other cities, okay? And we had to turn down many requests from many other cities. So that tells, so this person has some imagination that people are able to visualize something in him, and there's a hope and change that he's going to bring to our motherland. So as we gather here today, I think there's only one thing that is common for all of us is we all love our motherland, India, right? That's the only reason we are here. And we all are concerned, and we want to see India to be a prosperous, equitable, and a nation that commands respect in the world, right? But I think, we just celebrated 75th anniversary of India's independence. 75 years sometimes is very long time. Sometimes, we made a lot of progress in 75 years, right? I mean, we cannot say that we did not make progress. I mean, I'm in front of you, a example of democratic India's, constitution and some of the safeguards and, the free education. I studied in all government schools, all government colleges. I didn't pay 1 rupee in India for, getting my education. And, the opportunity that country has given me, and I came here, I made myself, at least, had some academics and professional success. I am somebody today. And if you know where I started in a very, very humble beginning in a small town called Jangan. My father was a first generation educator, and he was a school teacher. And it's a kind of a school system, but yet, there was a school, right? That school, and I had some wonderful teachers. So this is all, very, very good things that happened. Same thing, my father had to struggle to get a 10th class in Jangam town. He didn't have a Telugu medium. He didn't have, he had to go to 3 cities, Jangam, Bongir, Hanamkonda, to get his 10th pass, okay? So at least we didn't struggle that, right? The literacy rate, at the time of independence in Telangana was 11%, okay? So while we made a lot of progress, there are not many Venkat Marojus are, there's a luck, and you have to be, at the right place at the right time. So many people are left behind, okay? And if I read the statistics, they're horrendous, right? We are 131 in the number of countries are 180, 131 in the human development indices. India, we can talk about how much our GDP is growing, how many, CEOs we have for these Fortune 50 companies. We can claim that we are a global, sought after engineers and doctors, but yet that is only a small part of our country's, our nation's story. There's a big, larger picture that we hesitate to talk. We don't want to acknowledge, okay? And India today struggling, a state like Telangana, there's so many successful people in Telangana. In Hyderabad is a well-known IT hub in the world. But you go to Mahbub Nagar, which is like 60 kilometers, the literacy rate is less than 60%, less than 60%, 40% of the illiterate people in 21st century. So we need to ponder upon, this is something seriously wrong, okay? There's something seriously wrong. And there are many things, right? I mean, India is, like any other pre-colonial, we were a feudal system. Few people hold the land, few people hold the privileges, and we got, this wonderful constitution. Overnight, everybody became equal. One person, one vote. Politically, we were equal. But socially and economically, we had so much disparities in the country. And that's what actually Baba Sahib Ambedkar, when he submitted the constitution, said, so politically from day one, as soon as you introduce the constitution, everybody became equal. But there is socio-economic disparities. Unless we correct that, we convert the political democracy into a social democracy, we will never become a nation. Unfortunately, we are still a nation in the making, very sadly, right? We all are proud of India, but we are still not a nation. We are a nation in the making. When 30% across the board is related, 30% of the population is struggling for 2 meals of a day, okay? It's very difficult. 75 years, you could say a lot, not enough, but, there's a comparison. Korea was exactly same GDP levels as we when, we got independence. But Korea is a small country. Now, it is a very developed country with, probably, 20 times the GDP of India. But we have another neighbor, China, right? China's economy is today, 7 times. And by 1970, a lot of friends, I used to talk, by 1970, they could provide everybody 3 meals a day and a basic school in every village and a healthcare center by 1970. Of course, the story of China is a very outstanding. If you remove the communism and all that, don't talk about. But in the modern days, more than 1 billion people are lifted out of poverty. I think it's nowhere else happened. So while we are at this cross junction, there is a problem with equity. Equity in the national wealth, equity in the national power. Why, a person like me, I can't even tell, if you ask me, my distant relative, a ward member, an MLA, forget about, a municipality, like a sarpanch. No, we don't have, I can't even think about it, okay? But the good thing is a generation of us are getting educated, are achieving some socio-economic mobility, but we're a small number. And this small number is actually going to challenge the status quo. It's going to question the status quo. And that is what actually, we as a global NRI forum, most of us come from first generation, maybe second generation, but we have, really dream an India of, liberty, equality, justice, and fraternity that is enshrined in the Constitution. So, friends, today we are actually going to see a person. He's been a dear friend since 15 years. Dr. RSP Praveen Kumar, I know each other. And when he was at Harvard, we used to meet many times. And he was thinking all the time, what is the big idea that I want to, Venkat, tell me one big idea that can transform. And we always said education is the way to transform. Education is the transform. But he went back and took in charge for actually the secretary of these social welfare schools. Is a very small post. It is not an IAS post, actually. It is a very small post. He was a IG cadre at that time. And going to that position was really a small, but he wanted to do something. And I could not believe the kind of transformation he achieved. He impacted nearly 1 million students. And some of them are in front of us, actually. You will be seeing the next. And then today we were actually, Raidas runs a study abroad. About 25 students are just coming this year to United States. Some of their parents are orphans. Some of their parents are laborers. They don't even have a house. That's the kind of kids actually coming. So, he'll talk more about it. But we have a chance, right? We need to look for this new generation of leadership that country needs. Somebody came from the, bottom of the society. Same from the, a common man that people can relate to. And these are the people, hopefully, lead India to the India that we all want to be proud of. With that, I always question, there is a thing, right? I mean, you could be a comfort level living with your life and things, looking at, your surrounding, but somebody should ask, okay, if not us, who? If not now, when? I think that time is coming now. And with that, I would like to, hand over to Sujata. And I think next, Roidas is going to talk, right? Yeah. Hope we'll have a very good session. And thanks for coming again, once again. And thank you.
Thank you, Venkat. That was a very eye-opening speech. Next, I would like to call Rayadas Mantena, another organizer of this meeting, to introduce Dr. RS Praveen Kumar and talk about his work in the area of education.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. You all can hear me in the back. Jai Telangana. Honestly, I know we came together for RS Praveen Kumar. I am seeing some of my friends. I saw them when we got Telangana. So thank you, RS Praveen Kumar. So Kasari Gattiga, Jai Telangana. No, I don't hear from the real Telangana Udyamakarlu. Jai Telangana. Okay. Yes. Let's call Jai Telugu. Yeah. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming. I know it's a Friday evening. You all could have gone somewhere with families and friends. And thank you for your time. I have no prepared script. I'm going to say a few things because we have a few other items and also RS Praveen Kumar's speech. So we actually gathered on the occasion of our special guest, RS Praveen Kumar, visiting US. And also, we are wondering, what is the theme? What is the theme? We said, we are celebrating 75th Independence Day. So let's dedicate his trip in celebrating the freedom. So with that, I'm going to test 4th, 5th class, your memory. So can you sing along with me? Say along with me. So the beautiful thing, okay, the Indian culture, it's very unique. It's very unique. You can take Indian anywhere, but you cannot take Indianness from them. You can take India to anywhere. So let's say this. Edesha Megina Endukal So sorry for English or other languages, okay? Edesha Megina Endukal Ye Pita Mekina Yavareduraina. Pogadara Nitarli Bhumi Bharatini Nilpara Nijati Nindugoram. So to summarize, wherever you go, you just proclaim, be proud of your India. And we have scientists and we have doctors, we have Silicon Valley, angel investors, and so many. We should all be proud of being Indian. I know some of we have citizenship, we love India, and we love America. You know, actually what I do, when somebody comes to you, hey, you have a chance to you have a choice to choose one hand. Choose the one hand. We say, take off my left hand because right hand is holy. But if somebody asks you, you have a choice to keep only one eye. You have no way to say left or right. That is what India and America, for me personally. So, and I provoke you guys. I inspire you guys. I motivate you guys to think about India. Many of here, India gave the birth. And India gave the education. And India gave everything. What are you giving to India? What are you giving to India? Your single phone call can make it life. Your single phone call can build a life. Your single phone call turn an orphan into a master's student in California State University. This evening, I appeal to you all to put 1% of your time every day. 1% is out of 1440 minutes, 14 minutes. It could be from a bus stand, you're waiting for a bus. It could be you're sitting on a toilet bowl, that 14 minutes. It could be somewhere you're waiting for a friend. All it needs, 1% of your time every day, just 14 minutes. You watch that damn movie, 3 hours movie, non-stop. And you're not learning anything out of it. 14 minutes can change your lives. And please do that. If you love India, give that 14 minutes for orphans, for homeless people, for poor people, marginalized people. On the occasion of 75th Independence Day, I request you all, I beg you all, give that 14 minutes every day. And that is my speech on Independence Day. So now come to the main subject. Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar, I know him for about 16, 17 years. A good friend, a brother, a coach, mentor, and a leader now. And of course, he was an officer. He was an officer. So, the 25, 26 years of his service, he was dedicated to the nation that he loved. Unconditionally, he gave his life. So today, he went from an officer to an educational transformation leader. Today, he is here with us. Give me an opportunity, I will turn around this political system. I will turn around this corrupt system, the political system. So the BBC did a piece a few years ago. What are the roadblocks for India? This mighty India, this roaring India, this is growing India, the shining India. The roadblocks, number one, caste system. Number one, caste system. It is there in the blood? No. It is there in the flesh? No. It is there in your heart? Yes. It is there in your mind. And number two is the corruption. These are the two major roadblocks for India. And this is the main reason we are not competing with China. This is main reason we are not competing with America. This is main reason we are stuck. If I tell you in last 10 years, or say 80 years, or say 20 years, we are progressing. Yes, we made more billionaires. We are in the third place. Where is the civilization is going? Raping a 9-month girl and killing a guy because he doesn't look like you, he doesn't talk like you. This is not the progress we are looking for. And what are the reasons for that? The reason is you and me. We must, and for anything, for the roads, for the buildings, for rapes, for murders, for the hate crimes, single reason, political system. Single reason. And here we have that kind of leader who can go after these hate crimes, who can go after these rapes, who can go after these discriminations without any fear. I have seen many leaders very closely, opposition leaders, CMs and MLAs, MPs. I never seen a leader that thinks like him. Some of my friends may joke on me, yeah, Roy was a Congress. Roy was a lawyer. Roy used to be liking TRS. Roy, no, I'm not TRS, I'm not Congress, I'm not BSP. I am Indian origin. I am Indian. It is in my blood. I am appealing as an Indian, that passionate Indian to support this leader. I am appealing to all those leaders in India. You are part of TRS, you are part of Congress Party, you are part of BJP. Look at this officer who turned an educational reformer, who is actually coming to turn around the political system. Come, no shy, no fear, he will not fail you. Come to RS Praveen Kumar. I'm not asking you to come to BSP. Parties may come and go. But I'm asking you to come to Dr. RS Praveen Kumar. And thank you, Dr. RS Praveen Kumar, for giving up your job. You could have become a DGP of Telangana. The DGP is Director General of Police, the most powerful, most corruptible position after Chief Minister. As much as Chief Minister makes and DGP can make, they are partners in the crime. Any Chief Minister, they take the oath. First department they takes over control. They takes control is the police department. And he could have been the head of that department. After working for 8 years, 9 years, a small job, hey, I can make this millions of people. My wife is here, Swarna. I was in India. My father passed away. And one day she called me, sir, 2 Praveens, these are 2 officers. This officer, they're both busy. Can you send off me? I'm an orphan. And my wife and I, we both went there. I was very strong. I prepared. I don't want to cry in front of that girl. She went inside. I turned around. I cried like a baby. And there are many of them he shaped. He said, Roy, if I can do this with this small job, if I can get this opportunity going to these legislative chambers, I can turn around this state. See that confidence. He's not even MLA. He's not even a elected councillor. But see that confidence in him. Roy, I can turn this around. On this occasion of 75th Independence Day, do you really love India? Do you really love Telangana? Do you really love your village? Think about it. I'm telling you honestly, no politics. Just do it. Just do it. If we are all, majority of them are your first generation, okay? If we cannot do it, our kids cannot do it because they do not know the pain of what is India. I'm appealing to all the NRIs here. If you want to do it now. If you're gone, your kids cannot do it because they don't know about it. The pain I see, the suffering I gone this occasion, I am committed to support Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar. I request you all to think about it in any way possible. Generally, when you ask a support, the first thing it comes to your mind, finance. We are not looking for your finances. We are looking for your time. We are looking for your talent. We are looking for your treasure. Anything, if you're a writer, if you're a painter, if you're a thinker, if you're a strategist, if you're a planner, we need you all. And I love all politicians. I have no hatred for them. We need a politician who is the leader. Unconditionally, he wants to change the system. And with that, and I would like to again thank you, Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar, for giving his time. And also to my friend and my brother, Dr. Venkat Marozu, for walking with me on this mission the mission is to make India better. Mission is not to make RS Praveen Kumar Chief Minister. Mission is not to make RS Praveen Kumar, Cabinet Minister. Mission is to make India better. Mission is to make Telangana better. Are you with me? How many of them? How many of them with me to make India better? My friends, how many of them with me to make Telangana better? Seriously, let's do it from this evening. When we were fighting for Telangana, many of them said, Roy, you are wasting your time. You are a poor kid, came to America. You should focus on making money. You should focus on building a company. But I gave my time, my money, my everything for Telangana. So today also, I'm promising that I give my life, my time for making that India better. And I'm choosing RS Praveen Kumar as my leader on the mission to make India better. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
And thank you so much. With Dr. RS Praveen Kumar, but I'm just going to lovingly call him RSP if that's okay. Thank you so much. So I became familiar with his work through some of the education mentoring that we do, and we had an opportunity to visit his schools, meet his students, meet the teachers, and I'm hoping that maybe tonight you'll hear from some of those students. So I just want to kind of color in a bit more detail about his life and his work and his accomplishments. So he studied veterinary science from AP Agricultural University, and ultimately he became an officer in the Indian Police Service in 1995. And in 2012, he completed a master's educating all of our children. schools. Students there have access to language. Many of his students are well versed in Spanish and English. They know how to play different types of instruments, violin, guitar. They're producing art way beyond, like to me, it looks like a professional artist, not being a trained artist myself. And they learn all types of activities, all types of sports, golf, horseback riding. So we're talking about children in public education systems that have access to this type of learning, this type of life experience. Probably most of us in this room don't have kind of exposure to many of those activities. And one of his students, Purna, there was a film made on her, and she's the youngest girl ever to climb Mount Everest. And I personally know that since then she has been on a mission to climb all of the peaks, the mountain peaks in the world. So that's kind of the range of his work. And he not only, of course, he transformed the education scene within Telangana, but it has set an international marker, and it's being used, his work that he's done there is being used as one of the case studies at Harvard Education School, looking at the potential of education and transforming people's lives. Hopefully, he's going to share some of his own story with you tonight. I'm not going to go too much more into detail about that, but I'm sure that you'll find that his own story is, with due time, I think it's really going to rock the world, and I'm super excited to be a part of this beginning journey here. I'm just going to go through a couple of the list of awards that he's received. The first one being that he is the youngest police officer to have received the Police Medal for Gallantry by the President of India for the conspicuous act of bravery in Warangal district. Yeah. He also received the President's Police Medal for Meritorious Service. He also received the Internal Security Medal by the Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. And the Telangana State Excellence Award 2017 by the State Government of Telangana. And also Ambedkar Ambassador Award in 2020 by some of the Ambedkarite groups in the US. So hopefully I still have a little bit of your attention. I'm not going to go on for too long, but I just want to mention that as you may all know, that even if you don't have kids, or maybe you don't care about the education system, or why does it matter to me? I don't have kids that are going to go have education there. But it's just a testament to his ability to transform systems. As you all might be familiar, education and healthcare are among the most challenging systems to work with in any country, in any state, at any level. And to be able to completely transform that, it's not in the hands of any one individual, but this one individual has done that, and he's transformed it. And I think even in the US, when we think about, public school systems, we probably are thinking about, a lot of how we make decisions around where to buy homes ends up being what's the best public school system where I can educate my children. So we're thinking about places with high property taxes. Maybe Lexington is where you want to live, or I'm not sure where Boxborough falls and all of that. But imagine even that is so challenging, even for where we have resources, where we have money, but to the challenge of working with the poorest children in the community and bringing them to the finest educational institutions within India, abroad, taking them to the highest mountain at the youngest age. So these are not small things that we're talking about. So can we just get an applause for that at least? And then the additional remarkable last thing that I just want to mention, that he did all this with public money, using government resources that we already have within India. So like Roy had mentioned, we're not asking for funds for him to do this work. We're not asking for corporate sponsorships. He's strengthening India at the most basic level, from person to person, interpersonal relationships, and that's how we strengthen our institutions. And I think that the leadership that he's shown, the political acumen, the energy, the intention behind his work that's needed to do this type of work, I think we're extremely blessed to be able to have him in the room with us, and to able to envision, our hopes in our leadership in a person like him. And I'm so proud to be here tonight. And I think Manoj is just going to say a couple more things before we welcome him onto the stage, and you can have his attention then.
Jai Bhim, everyone. My name is Manoj Mishra, and I come from rural Chhattisgarh. I would like to bring a very different perspective. I'll try to be short. As an outsider, I think it's important for people who come from north or central part of India. like we get like there's a lot of media attention. One example is recently there has been so much media attention for Kejriwal that he opened 240 schools in last 8 years. And if you paid attention, Dr. R.S. Praveen had, like, he's not a chief minister, he's not an MLA, he runs 400 social welfare schools. So I think what he can do or he can't do or what he's capable of, that's in future. And not looking at things from political perspective. In Chhattisgarh, in Jharkhand, in Odisha, these are central part of India, where education system, it's, you have to understand like what's happening socially. And my mom passed away a few years ago and she did not know the name of her village, and I'm educated person, right? So you can, like, we do a lot of mentorship in rural part of Chhattisgarh and Odisha, and I can say that more than 80% people don't know what is India or name of their country or village. So there is that India as well. And the reason behind that is that in Chhattisgarh, in Odisha, in last 200 years, there has not been a single social movement or any political or social reformer, like there hasn't been any movement, right? So I think we were lucky enough to go to Telangana, where we got a chance to visit some of social welfare schools, and we met a lot of young students and mostly young girls. And I don't know Dr. R.S. Praveen personally, but I feel like I have deeper connection with him. And I'm saying that because, I think leaders are you look at leader from like which family they come from, what is their caste, how much money they have, and all of that. And when you we hosted a lot of students as well in Boston who came from these schools. And when you talk to those students, you have an answer for everything. You don't need to understand politics. You are new in you're trying to understand your consciousness and all of that. But when you visit these schools, you know what Dr. R.S. Praveen is. And he's a very special soul, beyond his power and all of that, super sensitive person. And like one example I would like to mention, that we attended this art exhibition when we were there, and people were very interested, like, oh, these two people came from America, and like people always, they're curious about like what happens in America, and you came from America, all of that. But as soon as Dr. R.S. Praveen entered that room, all these kids, they just wanted to hug him like anything. And it's so special. There is something special about Dr. R.S. Praveen. And I know our resources are limited. We don't have much resources. But whatever we have, there is this saying, there's this poetry. वे डरते हैं. वे डरते हैं किस बात से डरते हैं? वे डरते हैं, एलीट लोग, वे डरते हैं किस बात से डरते हैं? तमाम धन दौलत, गोला बारूद, फौजी पुलिस के बावजूद. वे डरते हैं तमाम धन, पुलिस, फौज, गोला बारूद के बावजूद कि एक दिन गरीब, निहत्थे, मजदूर, किसान लोग पढ़ लिख के उनसे डरना बंद कर देंगे. On that note, please welcome Dr. R.S. Praveen with a big round of applause.
Thank you, Dolly. Thank you, Manoj, for shedding light on the work of Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar in detail and also sharing your own experiences. Now, I would like to invite Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar on stage. And to welcome Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar, I would like to invite Monica and Sunita Mahe to welcome Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar with the flower bouquet. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Sunita. I would now like to call on stage Arvind Takalapalli. He would like to present Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar with an Indian flag. Thank you, Arvind. Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar will be taking on the stage. We will have 30 minutes talk, and then it will be followed by Q&A. Welcome, Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar.
Thank you. Thank you, Boston. Thank you, Massachusetts. Thank you, Boston Study Group. And I have no words to thank all the gracious ladies and gentlemen here, and particularly the younger ones. I thank all the parents who brought the young kids to this function. I'm really, really grateful to you. Good evening, the ladies and gentlemen, and all the friends from Boston Study Group. I greet you all on the occasion of 75th Independence Day of our country. I'm really happy and very lucky to be here in your midst on this great occasion. And I Jai Bhim to you. Jai Bhim. Jai Bharat. Thank you. Thank you. Friends, we are confabulating and talking to each other and sharing all our ideas and sharing all our aspirations for our great nation in India. Great nation, India. And we are celebrating this in another great nation. And that too in a great place called Boston, the epicenter for American Revolution. This is very, very important moment in my personal life and also in the history of this great country. Just 2 miles away from this place, there is another small town called Concord, and that Concord, 250 years ago, 2 shots were fired. 10 years ago, I was taken to that place by my program managers, the program director, and then we were shown a piece of rock on which it was inscribed that this is the place from where those 2 shots were fired. So, and then those 2 shots were fired to free this nation from the yoke of imperial masters who knew only to plunder the riches made by those people who lived in this colony called America. So from those 2 shots, from then on, then the revolution spiraled and it snowballed into a huge movement, and then the colonialists, the imperialists had to run away and then leave this country free. So in the same place, again you had another revolution, the literary revolution. Ralph Waldo Emerson and many more great poets, philosophers. That revolution gave birth to these great people, and whose thoughts continue to inspire not just Americans, but all the well-meaning people in this world. They are part of our evolution as great human beings, a great nation. The very idea of civil disobedience, which the great father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, had used to free our nation from the same British Empire. So the idea of civil disobedience, it had birth in the same place, Concord, thanks to David Henry Thoreau, so the famous philosopher. And this nation, this great nation, has given so many ideas to the world, and today we are here celebrating 75th year of independence. So thank you so much for Venkat and Raidas and then Hemantji, Sanjayji, everybody for inviting me to this place. In fact, I am really, really busy in our motherland. So ever since I joined politics, so I have been on the roads, I have been moving people, I've traveled for about 17,000 kilometers, visited about 778 villages, and spoke to about 700,000 people directly. And then I'm in the midst of a yatra, but the Boston Study Group thought that I must come here, and then I must be at the reference point for all the well-meaning people, not just from Telugu states, from all the states who want a different India, who want an inclusive India, who want an educated India, who want a corruption-free India. So all those people must come together, no matter whether it is Boston, whether it is New Jersey, whether it is Atlanta, whether it is San Francisco, whether it is Dallas, or any other place. So all of us must come together and must share all our ideas, aspirations, which have been cleverly buried underneath many layers of corruption and so on and so forth. So I'll come to that point little later. So thank you very much, Boston Study Group, for inviting me to this great evening. So I have some of the friends whom I have known for the last decade or so, and this town presents a very the very place brings a lot of memories. I've been to Lexington, I've been to Burlington, I've been to Westford. Our friends from Westford are here. Then I've been to Somerville. Then Cambridge, of course, was the alma mater in which I had learned the new perspectives in public administration. More than anything else, as Venkat rightly ended his piece with the Rabbi Hillel of first century, wherein he said, if I'm only for myself, what am I? I repeat, if I'm only for myself, what am I? If I am not for myself, who will be? If I'm only for myself, what am I? If I am not for myself, who will be? If not me, who? If not now, when? These are the four things one of our professors, Marshall Ganj, introduced us to this great world of introspection, reflection. So this is the place where I have learned a lot of new ideas. And then I graduated on 29th May 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't want to waste even a single day. I just flew to motherland, wherein many of my friends joined international organizations. They started NGOs in the US. They joined NGOs in the US. They joined international institutions. But I thought, no, having learned so much, having seen so many different ideas from different countries. My class had about 90 people from 80 different nations. And we all stayed together for 1 year to complete our master's degree. Then I thought, having met so many great people who came from different parts of the world, different continents, I thought, this knowledge, I must use it for my motherland. So that's why I just flew back to my motherland and then I landed there. So as I said, I'm in the midst of Yatra. So I joined politics after I went there, and then I continued within the space that is given by the government, which is within the space that is provided by the government, which is the space that provided by the Indian Constitution, written by the great Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So I wanted to use all my knowledge for the people. So that's how I had served in police department for 17 years as superintendent of police or head of the district, then deputy commissioner, joint commissioner, inspector general, but still I was not satisfied. So I was absolutely not satisfied. There was something which was nagging always, that I must do more. The way things are happening in this country are not really, are not in proper direction, are not the things that were supposed to be. So that's why I thought I should take a break from my regular policing, and then I went to our chief minister and then requested him to, give me an opportunity to explore the real area that is education, real area of human development that is education, and that's how I landed in welfare residential schools, and then probably 1 million people have passed out from the schools ever since I joined those institutions, and then. That was a great journey. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that today because that is not the subject matter here. So thanks, Dolly, for sharing some glimpses of my work in education sector in this country. But ladies and gentlemen, I met some of the friends who fought for Telangana, and then Venkat is one among them. And Raidas Mantena has just shared his aspirations for Telangana, and then how Telangana is taken into a tangential different direction. So I After 9 years of my service, I joined a political party. When I started journey, so a lot of things, really chilling things, because 1,300 people have sacrificed. Like as we talk here today, thousands of people sacrificed their lives to make America free. Similarly, from 1969 till 2014, 1,300 people from different communities, from different universities, from different walks of life have sacrificed their lives. 2014, Telangana emerged as the youngest state, the 29th state of India. Now it is 28 after Jammu and Kashmir lost its state status. So 2014, we all celebrated independence of the emergence of a formation of a new state. But today, our chief minister lives in a citadel which is built at the cost of 170 crores. I'm sorry for all those people who are not able to, convert Indian currency into dollars. I'm very poor at converting them, but anyway. So 170 crores. 20 million? Okay, thanks. 20 million US dollars. Okay. Anyway, so 170 crores. I have nothing against Chief Minister. He's a very nice gentleman, but that's not the issue here. The issue is governance. Telangana had only 60,000 crores as the debt when it got separated from Andhra Pradesh in 2014. But today, Telangana has accumulated the debt of 5.4 lakh crores. Not one, not two, not three, 5.4 lakh crores. Our chief minister had only 50 acres of agricultural land in the form of a farmhouse in 2014. Today, he has a farmhouse whose extent is 300 acres. He gets salary of 4.25 lakhs per month. That is the highest paid chief minister in this country is Telangana chief minister. 4.25 lakhs is the salary of our chief minister. He has built a palace in his farmhouse whose extent is 300 acres, I have already told you. The cost of the palace is 70 crores. And chief minister, in a year, 365 days, he stays in the farmhouse for 142 days. This is the average stay. And the money, because chief minister stays in a bungalow, official bungalow, 170 crores, to go from official bungalow to the farmhouse, because he has to commit 142 days on and off, on and off. You know how much money it has costed the state exchequer? 79 crores. In a year, to go from the official residence to private residence and then back and forth, 79 crores he had spent. This is not the case of only Chief Minister of Telangana. This is the case of many Chief Ministers in this country. Since I am from Telangana, I am talking about because we have a personal urge. We have been agitating against this gross misuse of public money. Dr. Venkat Maroju has been mentioning about the investment in education, the position of education. India, despite being the largest democracy, in spite of being the largest democracy in this world, is still at 131 position. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not because we don't have money. It's not because we don't have money. Because the money is going into wrong places. That's why the human development is stuck. Today morning, I was going through the papers. 3 children got injured because the ceiling of the school fell on their head. 9 got injured, of them 3 got seriously injured. The money should have gone to the schools, but money went to the bungalows. Money should have gone to the hospitals, but money went to the parties. Our chief minister threw a party in a village, a lunch with 26 items. Probably we have only 3-course meal or 2-course meal, but it was a multi-course meal, and it costed 3 crores. A lunch costed 3 crores. Are we living in a monarchy? Are we living in a, the vintage times? Are we living in a democracy? The money that should have been gone to the hospitals, the money that have been gone to hospitals, it has gone to somewhere else. A police command and control center, which was built at the cost of 1,200 crores. That's what Mr. Raidas has been mentioning about. The money should have been gone to the hospitals, has gone to police command and control center only to control the civilians. What Venkat Maruji is doing today in Boston. So monitor his mobile phone, send Pegasus software, then hack his mobile phone, then watch all his activities. The money should have gone, that money should have gone to hospital. The tragedy is 6 months ago, in a place called Warangal, in a city called Warangal, which is the second largest city in Telangana, a patient gets admitted and doesn't get beds. The nurses there, healthcare professionals, they made him sleep in a veranda on a normal cot. At 4 a.m., a band of bandicoots, they come and then they bite him and he loses blood. Then suddenly they realize that this guy is bleeding. Then they mop up the entire floor because they wanted to, and the patient was unconscious. At 6 a.m., again another band of bandicoots, they come and then they bite him and then he dies of excessive bleeding. A hospital where patients come to save their lives, and the same hospital, patients lose their lives. This is the tragedy. In labor ward where women are supposed to give birth to the young children, the snakes loiter. What is happening? So it is not just the case of Telangana, it is the case of most of the states in India where chief ministers are the people who are supposed to be elected and supposed to be serving people. They are enjoying the cozy comforts of the bungalows, the palaces, the citadels, so on and so forth. This is a fact in India. So this has to be challenged. Our chief minister, he has not stepped into a single college or university ever since he has taken oath of office. Not even a single college. There are 6.17 million students studying in the educational institutions. I'm not talking about higher education, but lower education. Higher education, if you had another, 500,000 or 600,000. Not even a single university has visited so far. I can easily understand the anguish of Manoj Mishra. He was just talking about, why rulers are scared of educating the masses. He has not sent, there is one university called Rajiv Gandhi University out in Indian Institute of Information Technology. So that is Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge and Technology, Knowledge Sciences and Technology. There are 9,000 students and there are supposed to be 161 professors. You know how many professors are there? Only 19. How will 9,000 best brains of Telangana will get education when there are only 19 regular lecturers? Then how will they get them? And 9,000 students, and then there are only physical education teachers, only 2. And these children have been requesting the chief minister, please come to our college and see the horrendous conditions in which we are living by yourself. but they don't have any heart to come. So what I'm trying to say, the chief minister, when he gets sick, he goes to the best corporate private hospital, best hospital, and themselves treated, and then become better. So this is the condition. This is the sacrifice. This is Telangana. The state came out of sacrifice of 1300 martyrs, and then today it went into wrong hands. So this politics, this brand of politics have to be changed. It's not just Telangana. Even the central government, Bharatiya Janata Party, which is ruling in the center, it is privatizing. It is privatizing all well-doing, the profit-making public sector undertakings, left, right, and center, and these things, these institutions, these great institutions are being served on platter to a few rich, ultra-rich businessmen at throwaway prices. Whose treasure was that? Whose treasure is that? Who made these public sector undertakings great? And then why is that these public sector undertakings are being divested without public consent, and then they're being given to the ultra-rich people? Then what happens to Indian Constitution? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said, yes, okay, we have given Indian Constitution to Indian people, but if the rulers are not good, then the Indian Constitution is of no use. Today, the rulers have a different agenda. An agenda which will serve only those people who are ultra-rich. Today, no channel is able to air the news freely, because all these channels are owned by the ultra-rich people. In Telangana, 6 to 7 important channels are owned by the rich people who are very close to Chief Minister. So any news which goes against government will never be beamed. And so is the case with Government of India. You ask under Right to Information Act all the questions, and then you don't get the answers. You don't get the answers. Then you go to villages. I've traveled about 700, I visited about 770 villages. Everywhere, even today, after 75 years of independence, you have, every village, you have at least 20 to 30% of the population, they still are asking for a home. Sir, please give us a good home. And people are asking for, give us jobs. Then you have graduates, you have postgraduates working as construction workers or working as coolies. We are underemployed. In Telangana itself, we have about 3.5 million people waiting to be employed, and government has no plan at all. So think what's happening. In whose hands have we placed our trust? In whose hands have we placed our state, our future of our children? In the last 6 months, in 75 incidents, students, in India you have midday meal scheme, in India you have residential schools. The students, they had food poisoning incidents, and in 75 schools, students were admitted in hospitals. In Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Information Technology, 1,200 students were admitted in hospitals in one night because there was food poisoning. But rulers are not bothered at all. Chief Minister is not bothered. His Council of Ministers are not bothered. So what am I trying to tell you? Our motherland is not going in right direction. That's why I come here to tell you, we all have to think, whether, no matter you live in America, you live in Europe, you live in any other continent, but we must give a thought to where our motherland is heading to. We must all think about why we are not able to, in spite of the fact that we have 1.3 billion people, and then of them, majority of them young people, we have probably the world's resource, and we have great budgets, like in Telangana alone we have 2.5 lakh crores is the budget, and still we are not able to make progress. And in one of the incidents, I went to a village. This is how the wrong priorities are happening. I went to a village So at 8 p.m., a ninth grader got drunk. It was minister's village. Ninth grader was a fully intoxicated condition. I asked his mother, ma'am, why is that your son is drunk? Didn't you monitor the activities of this child? He said, sir, I have no option because in every lane and by lane there are kiosks which sell liquor. And liquor sometimes is more cheaper than the bottled drinking water in India. This is a fact. And the government has earned 35,000 crores. 35,000 crores last year, while we all were suffering from COVID-19 pandemic. 35,000 crores they have earned by selling cheap liquor. And who are the victims? Poorest of the poor. Then I went to hospital and I asked the superintendent of the hospital, the chief of government hospital, tell me one solution which can make these people healthy. Tell me one solution which can prevent these people coming to hospitals. He said, stop liquor. Regulate liquor. Regulate these belt shops, the kiosks. I went to a village called 9th Mile Tanda. So in that, I met 33 women who were, working as agricultural laborers in an agriculture field. Of them, 11 were not having Mangal Sutra. So that the holy thread they wear after marriage. Then I asked them, why is that you don't have Mangal Sutra and that bindi on your forehead? They said, we lost our husbands. Then I asked them, how did you lose your husbands? Because all of them got drunk and then they have got so addicted to drinking and then we lost them. They're very young age people, they lose their lives. And no ruler is thinking on this direction as to why people or young people after marriage or before marriage, they are dying, either because of accidents or because of cirrhosis, which you get because of excessive drinking and so on and so forth. Because our rulers do not want, as Manoj, I'll come back to Manoj again, the ruler who wants to control the resources will never want the populations to get educated. They don't want to invest in education. They don't want invest in health. They don't want to invest in self-employment. Then where do they want to invest? They want to invest in winning the elections. As we speak here, I have been getting calls to come back, cancel my trip and come back. So then I asked, why is that there is hurry? And then why is that you are after me to come back? So then they said, there is by-election. I said, no. How come there is a by-election? Election comes only after 5 years. So you get elected and then you have to serve people for 5 years. Then your term is out. Then you go for elections. Then one legislator, he resigned to his position as legislator. And once he resigns, now you have to find another, you have to go for election to elect someone else. Then we looked at the data. Then why is that this guy is resigning to elections? Because he got a contract in Chhattisgarh. 20,000 crores coal block he got contract. So now the party that is ruling the government of India, so these people wanted to make a foray in Telangana. So that's why they said, no, okay, resign. Now let us prove our point, then let us test the waters of Telangana. That's why resign. You know how much money is being spent on one small election? 1,000 crores. How does this money come? Where does this money come from? Ill-gotten money. Then how these 1,000 crores will be spent? Buy liquor, buy saris, buy mutton, buy chicken, partying for 6 months, free. So people get used to this partying recklessly. Then one fine morning there will be voting. Then whoever gives more money, whoever can manage, whomever can intoxicate people in a better manner. So they go and then they press the button and then they win the elections. And then after that, they don't come back to villages at all. This is the status of Indian democracy. We are celebrating today Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. That is 75th year of Indian independence. As we celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in a place called Jalore in Rajasthan, a 9-year-old kid is beaten to death by his teacher for touching the pot of drinking water, a drinking water pot, because this boy belonged to a scheduled caste community and he goes and touches the pot of teacher and then drinks water because he was feeling thirsty, and teacher couldn't bear this unsacred act. So then he beat that boy to death, and this is the Azadi. This is the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and then we are celebrating. On the other hand, teacher is beating the boy, and then that boy lost his life. So this is where we are, my dear friends. So that is the reason why India needs an alternative politics. Parties, you need to have an alternative thinking, an alternative politics, and then we need to stop the flow of money to buy the votes. I'll come back. I'm done. So we need to stop the flow of money into this reckless flow of money into the elections, and then we need to rescue Indian democracy, and then we need to introduce a new value systems into politics, and that's why I am here. And then I thank Boston Study Group for making this happen. And then I know it really calls for a lot of hard work, and then you may have applied for leave from your jobs. I know how difficult it is to get a vacation in a country called the US. So I really thank you from bottom of my heart for making this happen. And then I thank you all for taking time that too on a Friday evening. I know how valuable it is today. So, but I thank you, and then I thank Boston Study Group for organizing all these tours, not just in Boston, all the cities in this country. And with these few words, I also thank you for being here, and then I request you to offer your suggestions. Please guide us as to how to build this, save Indian democracy, and then in order to save the lives of poor people and save the lives of the people who are going to land in the country, the future generations. That is very important. We can't be celebrating the sporadic successes. We need to create a huge pathway for all the people, irrespective of their caste and creed and then geographical positions. They must have a royal entry into a glorious future. That's very important. It's not because of somebody's pedigree is good, or somebody is related to somebody, or somebody has a lot of money, that's why he's doing well, or somebody is lucky enough to come to the US. No. So everybody should have equal opportunity. That's what Constitution said, which is in danger. In fact, current BJP government, current government in Telangana, they want to wipe out Indian Constitution, and they want to replace it with a retrogressive constitution. A constitution which is based on retrogressive values. I don't know what kind of constitution they're going to make, but friends, if we don't think together, if we don't think about motherland, and if you don't give your ideas and think our democracy will be in perpetual danger. And with these few words, so I thank you once again for your undivided attention, and then thank you Boston Study Group for making me for giving this opportunity to me. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. You want me to?
Yeah, we have a Q&A session. It could be a question or a comment, but make it very brief.
I'm so sorry. It's a global NRI forum. I forgot. So,
Yes,
it's a new entity. So thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
he is going
So
to.
I request you to give a huge round of applause for global NRI forum. Yeah. Yes. Sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, this event organized by both Boston Study Group in collaboration with Global NRIs Forum, and there are 10 events in 10 major cities. It starts, Boston is the kickoff, then it'll go through New York, New Jersey, Washington, DC, Atlanta, and Detroit, and Chicago, Dallas, and Bay Area. So we call this as a roadshow. When you have a startup company, you go for roadshow, then you go public. That's exactly, we follow that model, is a startup company with a beautiful idea to make India better. So please share the flyers and any invites with your friends and families. So we are going to take some questions. Make it brief, concise, no rebuttal, please.
And question should end with question mark.
Yes. Why, what, where, and when, okay? So that's the agreement. And you can make a comment or comment. So,
Sir, yes.
Say, we want to take on a big, big party or big individual, we need to be equally big. Someone who has to be big. I see so many intelligent people contesting election. They are individually very honest people, but they are not able to win the election. They are not able to contest election. Why not people come together, like-minded people, bring them together to take on these corrupt politicians. And another thing is, I always believe that there is no point in blaming the politicians, because people have to be enlightened. As long as people keep electing those people,
Thank you.
we will be like this. Why not somebody, I don't mind, if some financial support is required for this effort, someone like me definitely will come forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The question is, why can't like-minded people come together to go for better politics?
No, I have an answer for that. Thank you very much for asking this question, sir. So, it's observation and then question. Yes, we can't leave it to one or two people, so who are enlightened or who found their calling, and then sometimes you find them very rarely. And then we are living in a society where every home wants Bhagat Singh to be born in next home. Every home, most of the places, every home wants Shaheed Bhagat Singh to be born in the next door, but not in their homes. So my request, have not seen how freedom movement has evolved, but I had seen with my own eyes how Telangana movement got evolved. Yes, a movement for separate Telangana. Like a guy like Venkat, standing in the city, staying in Boston. I met his friends from his university, and then he made 3-4 subgroups, and then they started Telangana Development Forum, or they got a movement for separate Telangana across Atlantic. So most of these movements, they build up a very strong sentiments. These sentiments are made only when everybody talks about the cause. So not just one or two, not just Praveen Kumar, not just Venkat, not just Roydas, not just Sanjay, but everybody, when they talk about this and everybody talks about the need, then the politicians also, they get scared, sir. Every channel should be able to beam this. And then if channels are not, because now today we are not in a position to show all these great things in the channels, because the state controls all the channels, because the information and broadcast. So in that case, you have only social media. You have YouTube, you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have WhatsApp. So you have to, in your own way, or you have websites. You can start your blogs, and you have to start your websites, and then spread the information to punish those politicians who misuse public money, then promote those people who, your endorsement can be a great use, like, influencers. Once you say something, because you are a well-educated person. In villages, in Indian villages, people go to RMP doctors, registered medical practitioners, who are not, the medical professionals who have gone to the proper medical colleges. They go to teachers, they go to retired teachers, they go to postmen, the postmasters. These are the influencers, and they go to well-educated people. If people like you, if you endorse the good politician, so if you, whom you think good, whom you think honest, I think that makes a hell of a lot of difference. But not just one, not just two. We have to really make it as a movement. So for that, you need to have a multi-pronged strategy. So not one person's voice is not enough. So I hope I have answered your question. So, and I thank you very much for offering to help. Thank you very much.
Next question.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Sankir. I live in Boston. As you said, you've been meeting people, right? So talking here with people like this is different from when you actually
Yes.
go into the ground. So have you come up with this one thing that people are actually looking for? And do you think if you can bring that up into people, they would actually think and vote rather than vote for other things that the other candidates are giving? Is there this one single point thing that you think that, oh, if we can focus on this thing, maybe we can convert that into votes?
People want jobs.
Okay, but that's been a generic way of all politicians saying it, right, sir? So is
No,
there?
but everybody says, but nobody has delivered. They want jobs. Like, this is what I have understood. Like, I've had a personal experience of all of them. They are not looking into whether chief minister is. You know, the reason why politicians invest less in education is to keep people always in darkness. People, like, none of that, you'll be surprised. Most of the places, people have not asked me about the quality of education. Nobody asked, why is that our children do not have a teacher? Why is that our school building is rickety? Why is it our school building is about to fall? Then I got really surprised, and then I came back and then talked to many people. Why is it these people are not asking about, schools? Why is it they are not asking about their, children's scores in mathematics or children's scores in English or, so on? And why is that there is no textbooks for the children? Even today, only 70% of the schools got textbooks. And some of the schools do not have notebooks. Then how do they write? And then nobody asked about this. Everybody is asking, sir, please give us jobs or give us pension at the first day of every month. So these are the smaller things. The people do not know what to ask. Why? Because they were not educated. They have not seen a better world. They have either through education. You have to see a better world either through education, or somebody has to take you to that world and then show it. So people do not know what to ask. In Telangana, 4 crores, only 2 crores are literate. So they're just simply asking for jobs, because so that they can get sustainable employment. Otherwise, they have no means for a better livelihood.
Thank you.
Next question, please introduce yourself.
Sir, this is Vijay.
Yes, Vijay.
I have 2 questions actually.
Yes, sir.
I'll speak in Telugu so that. So 75 ఏళ్ల స్వతంత్ర భారతదేశం సాధించిన అతిపెద్ద విజయం ఏమిటి, అతిపెద్ద ఫెయిల్యూర్ ఏంటి మీ దృష్టిలో? దట్ ఇస్ ద ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్.
75 ఏళ్ల భారతదేశం సాధించిన
అతిపెద్ద విజయం ఏమిటి, అతిపెద్ద ఫెయిల్యూర్ ఏంటి ఈ 75 ఇయర్స్లో మీ దృష్టిలో? ఏది గ్రేటెస్ట్, ఏది బాగా సక్సెస్, ఏది బాగా ఫెయిల్యూర్? సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే, డాక్టర్ జయప్రకాష్ నారాయణ గారు, జేడి లక్ష్మీనారాయణ గారు, ఆకునూరి మురళి గారు, మీరు సిస్టంలో ఉండి ఎంతో చేయాలనుకున్నారు. కానీ సిస్టంలో ఉన్న లోటుపాట్లు కానీ, ప్రెషర్ వల్ల కానీ, రాజకీయ అడ్డంకుల వల్ల కానీ మీలాంటి మంచి ఆఫీసర్లు 4 రిజైన్ చేసి బయటికి రావాల్సి వచ్చింది. ఇలాంటి సిస్టమ్ ఇంకా ఎన్నేళ్ళకు బాగుపడుతుంది? 75 ఇయర్స్ అయింది, ఇంకొక 750 ఇయర్స్ ఆగాల, ఇంకో 75 ఇయర్స్ ఆగాల? మీలాంటి మంచి ఆఫీసర్లు సిస్టంలో ఉండి ఎలాంటి రాజకీయ పొలిటికల్ ప్రెషర్ లేకుండా మీరు మనసులో అనుకున్న సాధించాలంటే, సిస్టంలో ఉండి చేయాలంటే ఇంకెంత టైం పడుతుంది?
Yeah, Praveen, if you don't mind, I
Yeah.
think there are many people who don't understand English, so Telugu. So let's try to keep it in English, but I can translate his question,
Yeah, please
right?
translate.
Yeah, so basically he's asking, in 75 years, what our country has achieved the best and what we haven't achieved in 75 years. That was his first question. And the second question is, we have, I don't know how many of you know Jayaprakash Narayan, who started Lok Satta movement, and then he started a political party. So he was considered a great officer, but he, really didn't succeed in politics. Similarly, there was recently another fine IPS officer called JD Lakshminarayana. After retirement, he started trying to enter politics, but he's also didn't make. So his question was, why these, considered great officers are not really succeeding in politics, and is this the right time to enter politics or not? So that was his question. Yeah,
Thanks
please.
for translating this question. The biggest achievement, since independence is we stayed together as a nation. We stayed together as one nation. Although we have 2 different cultures, like too many cultures and then subcultures and then languages, whatnot, ways of life, but still we stayed together as a nation thanks to Indian Constitution, and it's working to some extent. The biggest failure, as I say, we lost on education, we lost on human development, and then whatnot. So once you lost focus on education, human development, Then when human development includes education, health, and so on and so forth, we have not been able to make a great progress. So in compared to other countries of the same, standing. So then second question, yes, as a bureaucrat, you may have been a celebrity and then you may have done a lot of great things, but as a politician, it's a different ball game. You have to, bureaucracy, you have a system right at your disposal to deliver. So if you have a good equation with the politicians, and if you have good space, or if you can manage better, then you can deliver. So, but politics is not like that. So you need to be with the people. You may be a very good intellectual and you may analyze things better, but people don't understand that. So you need to be with the people, you need to fight for the people, you need to sacrifice all your comforts, and you should be ready to go to jail. So then only you will be a successful politician, at least in India. So otherwise, I have a lot of respect for all the politicians that you have just mentioned. So, but they need to be with the people. So, and then they should not lose nerve. One defeat cannot, dampen your spirits. One defeat is politics. You get elected, defeated. So peaks and valleys are in public life, and we should be ready. It's not going to be a short journey. So thank you very much for asking this question. Thank you.
Next question.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Sujata.
So we are all aware of your work in education areas for marginalized communities and living in poverty. The issue that you mentioned was unemployment, which we all know is in India these days. We are reading news every day. We see, we watch a lot of podcasts, which kind of reiterates this problem. But my question here is, you have mentioned this issue and you have done so much of work in education areas. So your immediate actions for unemployment, what are your plans, if at all they are in the future for you after you go from here, or any plans that you have already been working on for unemployment? We would all like to know about those.
Make people employable. So one single sentence, make the education meaningful, and then make it reflect the job requirements. And it's not that there are no opportunities. Economy, oftentimes it gets overheated, and then when you say economy is overheating, so you need more and more skilled youth, and then that skilling youth, like 83% of Indian engineering professionals are not employable. So the problem here is, this is not my study, this is a study by all consulting companies in the country. So 83% of Indian engineering graduates are not getting employment because they are not employable. So what we need to be urgently investing on is skilling of the people from different levels, and then understand the job market, and then link the job market with the education sector. So the people in the villages, they don't want to come to cities, although they want to work, because there are no facilities. So they don't know where to stay in cities. So just you build 10 to 15 hostels for all these young professionals, and then they can stay in cities where there are a lot of requirements. So you have to invest heavily onto skilling. So skilling is very, very important. And then integrate job market with the education. That's not happening right now. So industries are one watertight compartment, or the economy is one watertight compartment. Education is another watertight compartment. Very rarely they talk to each other. So that's where there is a mismatch out there. So that's why urgently we should be doing that. So that's very, very important. Thank you. Sir.
Next question, one second.
Hello. My name is Ashok Jaku, and I am one of the board of directors of Boston Study Group.
Oh,
welcome to Boston.
Thank you very much.
And Dr. RS Praveen Kumar, I know you have been doing a lot for marginal communities. Please keep up with what you are doing right now. There's a lot to do more for marginal communities. My question is, it's a political question. My first question is, why BSP? What made you to go to BSP? Why not other political parties? The second part of the question is, people from BSP often come to us before the elections, and they come to us after they did your job and they never show up, they never call us back. How you would be different kind of BSP politician than the other people? It's a two-part question. Thank you.
I thank you very much, Shakji, for asking this question. I chose BSP over, I preferred BSP over Congress, BJP, and a lot of regional parties because Bahujan Samaj Party built on the idea of constitution, the constitutional values, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. No party in India has constitution as its foundation and moral compass. And then they assiduously, after they got into power, they tried to pursue these constitutional values to the best possible extent, be it land distribution, be it job creation, be it ensuring safety to women on the streets, or be it ensuring the law and order, or be it investing in education to the extent possible. So this is the, and more importantly, the justice, the equality of opportunity. This is the only party which bats for equality opportunity, equality for opportunity. You know, you have in India, you have scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, backward classes, then religious minorities, Christian minorities, Muslim minorities. Then you have poor among upper classes, so-called upper classes as well. So Bahujan Samaj Party keeps this in mind in terms of political representation, equality of opportunity, that every community should get their piece of cake. So it cannot be only, the only dominant predators grab everything. So today, I was reading a book written by, Akar Patel on, Indian billionaires, etc., etc. You have 119 billionaires in India, of which there are no scheduled castes. There are no scheduled tribes in that list. You go to judiciary, higher judiciary. You have about, I don't know how many Supreme Court judges, maybe 30 or 40, but very rarely you find the people from these communities. You go to IITs and IIMs. So in IITs and IIMs, 90% of the, only 10% of the professors who are serving in IITs and IIMs, who are supposed to be the premier education institutions of this country, after 75 years of independence also, you have only 5 to 10% of professors who are from these marginalized sections, who form about 30% of Indian, 30 to 35% of Indian, population. Now go to central universities. There are 80 to 90 central universities in this country. So these central universities, for example, OBCs, they form 52% of India, other backward classes. You know how many percentage are there in central universities? Only 9.8%. Where is their population? 52%. Where is their representation? 9.2. You may say in the first decade of independence, okay, now these people are not educated, let us invest in education. Now we have 7.5 decades. That is 75 years of independence. Even today, you have only 9.8% of OBCs in central universities. But Bahujan Samaj Party wants to take this problem head on. So that's why I really liked it. So their idea is social justice, idea is equality of opportunity, idea is liberty of thought and fraternity. So no other party has this. And then their chips are down for a while. So today, so this is a mission, this is a movement. It's not a political party just gets votes and etc., etc. So it's a movement, it's a continuous movement for social justice, and fighting elections is only one part of it. Coming back to your second question. The very reason why I'm here, so answers your second question. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Got it. We are very much connected to you, and we have very high expectations from you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll not disappoint you. Take it from me.
Right. How many questions left? So one more question here.
Yeah, we take a couple of them, then wrap it up. And one from this PhD scholars table. Yeah, yeah, you go first. You go and then.
Can you introduce yourself?
Oh, sorry.
Who? I mean,
Yeah.
hello, Jai Bhim, Dr. RS Praveen. Jai Bhim. Jai Bhim. So I'm really very inspired, and this is the first time I'm hearing any politician from our community talking in a suit. So I really have a big hopes from you. So I really see the future is very bright.
I really like this observation.
And I'm
Thank you very
really-
much. Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to you as a next or coming CM of Telangana, and in future, obviously, I would really work hard to make you PM of India.
Thank
and everyone.
Thank you very much.
So
I really appreciate it.
having this vision and having this dream in our head. I have a question or maybe I have some.
Please go ahead.
These things for you. So I see your vision now. While translating that vision into activities for the community which has never got education or which doesn't know this language, so our community which doesn't have this kind of understanding of this kind of language or anything, and considering 3.8 million, that is around 4 crores of population.
Yes.
50% is uneducated.
Yes.
23% is around, I think so, scheduled caste, and 11% around scheduled tribes.
Yes.
Considering the climate of right now in Indian context, which is being religious and which is being I don't want to go into details. You know that better than me. How or what vision or what roadmap we people or people like you should have to translate our people's understanding and our people like you vision and people of our people at ground understanding, how to make them together, because BSP has a very good history of being cadre based, going door to door. Unfortunately, I have not observed that for last few days.
Yes.
So what roadmap or what vision you have, how you're going to do that, how you're going to translate your vision or your manifesto into action plan, and how you're going to get back. At the end of the day, politics is all about getting numbers.
Yes.
So how you're going to calculate and how you're going to get that numbers. I'm really excited to listen and really excited to contribute for getting that numbers for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I hope your words come true. So my shortest answer to your question is get back to the ground. So the day you are off the ground, and then you are not going to get that numbers. So you must be with the people, you must build the structures, you must give a framework to the functioning of the party, and then you must fight for the problems of the people, and then only people will trust you. Otherwise, most of us sometimes what we do is we only talk about theories, and then which people don't understand. So, but if you fight for their problems, then you win their hearts and minds, and then talk about the meta process behind the process. Probably they will understand it better. So, and then they'll be connected to you forever. So that's why never leave the ground. Never leave the ground. Always stay, have your eyes and ears and feet on the ground. Then you will be a successful politician. You will definitely, if not in one term, the next term, people will understand this is the guy. This is the guy who has been with us all through the times, whether in summer or winter or the monsoon or whatever season. So this guy has been with us, and then we will go with him. So you don't have to pay money to the voters like all the dominant political parties which are founded on the idea of exploitation. So be with the people. So that's the only thing that I wanted to say. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hello, sir. My name is Aruna Ramaya. I'm very
Very
excited to meet
Mahesh.
you, and I'm very inspired. Sorry.
Yeah, please go ahead, Aruna. Yeah.
And I'm very inspired and motivated by.
Thank
I
you.
have two. First question is, my goal is to go back to India and work towards the betterment of society.
Very good.
after few
Congratulations.
years. Thank you so much. So I'm very scared about changing people's minds and to how to erase their superstitious beliefs, because everyone have their own different perspectives, right? So that is my first question. Any tips upon that?
One of my professors in Kennedy School, he taught me a tip. Since you have asked about tips, so to bring the change, so there are 3 circles. One is I, us, and now. So I is you as an individual. Us is your immediate vicinity. The now is the I is the we is the community in which you live in. The community is not the caste, but the group of people, group of families. And now is the time. So most important thing what he told was listen, empathize, listen, empathize, solve, respond. Don't sermonize. Don't sermonize. Listen, empathize, respond, help. Probably you will change them forever. So the day you say you have a problem, then I have a solution. Come, open the box, then I have the spanner, then I'll fix it. No, that won't work. Listen, empathize. Everybody has his own trajectory or her own trajectory. So everybody has he represents a constituency. That constituency is formed by not just living people, but even the ancestors. So, so you need to be very, very patient, and you need to be empathetic, and you need to be a great listener. So before you solve the problems, and then should you have any issue in praxis, please, when you come back to India, so please join us for a while.
For sure,
Then
sir.
both of us can work together. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank
That
you.
was very helpful. And
Thank
my
you.
second question.
Yes.
You said that liquor is very harmful to our
Yes, it is.
society. Yeah.
Excessive
So
drinking, yes.
I'm very curious to know about your plans. Like, what are you planning?
We are going to regulate the access.
So
Absolutely.
are
So
you
we are going to make it inaccessible, highly inaccessible.
highly inaccessible?
Yes.
Not completely ban it, right?
No, it has not worked anywhere in the world, including Gujarat.
Thank you so much,
Including,
sir.
you need to
Thank
be, you drink, I have no problem, but you have to be a responsible drinker.
So,
It has not worked in Gujarat, the birthplace of Mahatma Gandhi, so it has not worked. We have so many huge deaths.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. RSP. Jai Bhim. Jai Bhim
Jai
to
Bhim.
everybody.
Jai Bhim.
My name is Arif, and I am from Bihar via Cambridge. I'm not an active participant in politics, especially electoral politics, but I'm an observer and a student of politics. And like many other people, I feel that Manevar Kanshi Ramji has been the biggest change maker or political strategist of independent India. Before he founded BSP, Bahujan Samaj Party, in 1984, he started off with BAMSEF in 1978, and then of course DS4 in 1981. The one thing which was very, very prominent, and he kept it very prominent by design, that he always centered the Bahujan identity. Like when BAMSEF, there's backward and minorities, DS4 is Dalit Socialist Samaj Sangarsh Samiti, and of course Bahujan is Bahujan. And as a student of politics, when we see the rise and fall, of unfortunate fall of BSP, is that BSP got extremely, if I might use the term, Dalitized. Or even in UP, its biggest, with its biggest support base, it became Jatavized. And that's how it was actually, it turned in its own enemy, and that's how it was broken down. Like, of course, the RSS used it to the advantage, and Jatavs, yes, or non-Jatavs and stuff like that. And now you are in a new state in Telangana, which BSP, as far as I understand, is a very limited presence.
Till last year.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of,
True.
I mean, we don't
True.
have data yet in terms
Yeah,
of
you're
how
right.
much, what's the voting, percentage of votes you have. Of course, you don't have much seats in the Legislative Assembly or anything. How do you plan to kind of expand this circle of support for BSP and make it a really Bahujan party and not commit the mistakes which were done by leadership, committed by leadership in UP?
We
Thank
want
you
to
very much.
follow the rule book designed
Another
by...
thing,
yeah.
he is also a John F. Kennedy School alumni, like you.
Oh, super.
Yeah.
So the one important thing is to follow the rule book of Kanshiram. So it is still relevant, and it will be relevant till you have differences in this country. So we will further improve upon that. And then second thing is the current 21st century politics is not just about adding the numbers or bringing the communities together. No, but you have to also actively engage with them. So 21st century is about using the technology and then fighting for the problems and then fighting for, giving the solutions, and it has to be a continuous process. So if you lose the touch with the ground, that's what I've been saying. So one is bringing that together and then giving proper representation, as you rightly pointed out. If you restrict only to a few, 2 or 3 dominant sub-communities in a country like India, you won't be succeeding as a politician. You need to build that framework in such a way that that gives room for everyone. Then that is not enough. So having brought them together, you have to give them a program, and then program should always revolve around the problems faced by the people. It cannot, talk about the history repeatedly again and again. No, it's not going to help you. So most of the parties, not just one party, most of the parties, what they do is, particularly the communists, for example. So they have been wiped out from most of the states except for Kerala. So in a place like West Bengal, now you have BJP has 75 seats. I was a police observer for elections in West Bengal, and then I asked, where are communists? So most of the communists are in Bharatiya Janata Party. So where is ideology? So what I'm trying to say, ideology is not enough. Now you need to engage with the people with that ideology and then refine it, that ideology, as you go ahead. So if you get dogmatic and then if you only live in the past and bask under the glory of the previous successes, probably it will be very difficult. So we are not making, even we got the instruction from our supreme leaders also to refine the strategies that existed and then go for a version 2.0 and then if necessary 3.0 as well. So we need to be with the people, solve the problems, then again communicate with the help of technology, because as you said, the ruling classes in the form of BJP or any other party, they have grabbed every possible institution. Earlier, that institutions were reasonably democratic and accessible to everybody, but today judiciary is infiltrated, then Union Public Service Commission is infiltrated, media is totally infiltrated. So then what is the way out? So you need to use a lot of smarter ways of reaching out to people and then spread your word. You have to match, and then mass action to the extent possible and mass digital action. So the sky is the limit. So this is what I want to say. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is last 2 questions. So
yeah,
okay,
Mahesh, please go.
Hello, sir. This is Mahendra again.
Yeah, Mahesh, please.
Yes, Mahendra, sir.
Mahendra, yeah.
So you have shown and you have proved that education, by educating people, we can create wonders, right? But I'm wondering whether this message is being reached to the common people, particularly illiterate people in the villages, who can influence the elections broadly, right? Is it being reaching? What either your team or you are doing to explain them, understand them? They need education is the first thing, and then they can change their life. Their lifestyle can be changed. The quality of their life can be changed. What are you doing on this front?
Very good question.
And how
Very
can
good
we
question.
help you,
Yeah.
if there is any?
Very good question. It has reached. In fact, I had my own doubts because I was never into political space. So I'm just 1 year old in politics, and then you'll be surprised. All the beneficiaries of my work in all the educational institutions, they are the people who took me to their homes, and then they introduced me to their parents, and much before my entry into politics. And then they have really talked about the value of education, and then parents have realized that earlier only rich people in the village used to speak in English. Only rich people used to go to urban areas. Only rich people used to go to universities. But today, the students from the poorest of the poor communities, whose houses are made up of old saris, are studying in great universities like Ashoka University, Delhi University, Jawaharlal Nehru University. Some of them have visited even Harvard for summer programs. And then their parents are agricultural laborers. And then these people have become celebrities in their communities, celebrities in those villages, in the neighborhoods. So, and then these people have become our brand ambassadors, and then people have realized the value of education to a greater extent. So I think the real test, whether these people are going to vote for me or not, vote for the party or not, I think it will be known only when we fight elections in a big way. So I think the elections which are upcoming now, that is going to be a litmus test whether investment in education works or not. It has worked in the, in Arvind Kejriwal's context, whether the same thing works in Telangana context, because in Telangana context is different. The North Indian elections are different from South Indian elections, North Indian elections, South Indian elections. Every vote fetches you 10,000 rupees minimum, and one case of beers and maybe one or two saris and whatnot. These people, the ruling classes have made people to get addicted for all these freebies much before election. So, but here, on the other hand, we are not going to supply liquor, we are not going to supply money, we are not going to buy the votes, and then we are going to tell that, look, we are here to give you equal opportunity, we are here to give you the best possible education, and we are here to make your children employable. So this is a matter between the money and then dreams. Let's see what happens. Thanks. Yeah, last question. So, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. My name is Madhu Purushottam.
Madhu Purushottam,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
I'm a scientist
Oh,
working in
fantastic.
pharma. I'm a good friend of Venkat Maroj, and I've been, actively involved and following your activities
Thank
and
you, sir.
your ideology. I liked one thing from your speech and your, your activities, this corruption free, right? So the thing is, like, when we watch your speech, it looks like you are single man army, right? You need, end of the day, you need at least 120 MLA, contestant, right? At least
120 seats.
117, right? 119, sorry. Yeah. But you need 60 out of those.
Yeah, that's right. We have
Honest.
119, we need
Yeah,
60. Yes.
60, but honest, right? Because of, recently you've been seeing BJP, Congress
Yes.
giving money,
Yes.
EDs, right?
About, yes.
So even if you get 60, you need to maintain those 60.
Absolutely.
Like, honest. And so what is your game plan? And in case if you get 20 or 30 seats, so what is your plan going to be?
These are the strategy issues which I may not be able to answer. But one thing is, we are not going to give tickets to turncoat politicians who switch the sides overnight, because even if they win, they'll go back to, they'll put themselves up for sale. So after they win, like that's what happened in earlier elections. Like, in Telangana itself, we had two people, one with the Bahujan Samaj Party's ticket, and the day they got elected, then immediately they sold themselves off. Then same thing happened in many states, and in Maharashtra is much more scary. Like you have Shiv Sena got divided into old Shiv Sena and the new Shiv Sena, and then a lot of crores of money got pumped into the system. So it's a real challenge. And second question is, if you get only 20 to 30, what would you do? It's all the more better. So then your bargaining power will improve, and then you can bargain better for people. So, but again, if you give to turncoat politicians and then win the elections, then they are not going to stay with you, most probably. So that's why we want to focus on the real committed people, party workers who have been with the people, who have been fighting for the people, no matter whether they are rich or poor. So that they will be loyal to the people and loyal to the party. And that's the reason why we are requesting people in general to donate whatever little fund they can to the people, to the party, so that we can run the elections on a very transparent manner. So it's a challenge, sir. It's not going to be easy. So because ruling classes have so much of money with them, ill-gotten money, and then they can buy anybody. So sometimes I was told by someone that even the chief minister of one state decides who should be fielded against their ruling party candidates. So he not only decides his own candidate, but he also decides who should be fielded against his candidate. So that is the depth with which the ruling classes operate in India. So Yeah. I think, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just before we,
Thank you very much, everybody. You have been a very, very well-informed and very intelligent and very patient audience. And thank you very much for your patience, sir.
yeah,
Jai
before
Bharat
we,
and Jai Bhim.
before we go back, go to the closing, thanks to all the people. And just a quick announcement, okay? So once again, you have 9 more cities to go. We go to New York tomorrow, and tomorrow, the Saturday, 20th, in Royal Albert's Palace. It's a big meeting, and please stay tuned. Each city carries a different message. This is not going to be the duplication, same RS Praveen Kumar, same message. Each city has a different message, and please stay. And about 100 people left. Talk to one of your friend. Hey, I went to this meeting yesterday. It was so beautiful. It's different from any meeting I've attended. When we designed this program, we actually broke away from the conventional meetings. So you have experienced, instead of me saying it was a different meeting, you probably experienced it. Talk to your friends. The best thing you can do is, after you go out of the meeting, talk to your friend. And you can, Wikipedia, yeah, there's a lot of information about him. And you can refer your friends to Wikipedia.
Friends, not just in Boston or the US, but talk to the friends and families back home. That's very important.
Yeah, that's, please reach out. And we have evites also, you can share with your friends. And he's going back to India September 10th. Until that point, he's jam-packed, he's meeting people in different cities. Please help us to spread the word. And thank you very much again.
Thank you very much. Good night. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen Kumar, for visiting USA and being here with us. Thank you for giving us your valuable time. We wish you all the success in this new era of politics that you want to start in India. We all know how badly India needs politicians and leaders like you to make that change and bring that awakening. We wish you all the good luck for the fabulous work you are doing in the areas of education for marginalized communities. I would also like to thank all the lovely audience here who would have been anywhere else, frankly. You were very patient and have been a wonderful audience. I truly thank you for the privilege of your time. I would like to thank all the organizers of this event and Boston Study Group for this lovely evening. I would like to call on Venkat Maraju to take up some names to thank all the people.
Yeah, actually, a event like this wouldn't happen without the support of many people behind the scenes. So I want to call upon some names. Please come onto the stage, okay? Starting with Sanjay Bhagat, Hemant Chavan, Vijaya Maroju, Swarna Mantina, Amrapali, Swaroop, Pradeep, Monica. Please come. Guys, come. And you come on the stage. Sanjay ji, you come onto the stage. So then Mahesh Admankar, Vinay Vikas, Nagaraju, Vinay Arapeli, all the way came from New Jersey. And Bhuvan, he came all the way from California. He just flew in this morning. Yeah, come all on the stage, please. We'll take a picture. Then we have a Surya, just arrived 2 days back from India as a new student. And this boy has been helping us a lot. And Sujata for wonderful moderation. And Sundar, who came from New Jersey to cover this media. Thanks, Sundar. And Paul Punya Samudram is not here, but he's been helping with the video streaming. So all of you just come onto the stage. We'll take one picture, okay, with RSP.
Where is Vijaya?
Come.
Vijaya.
Varna. Come.
Vijaya and Mrs.
Monica.
No, Mrs.
Swarna.
Yeah.
You call her. Call here. Someone call here. Yes, Swarna.
Swarna, please come on the stage. And
Yeah, yeah.
Vijaya.
Sorry.
And
and
Vishal,
Vishal
our
Shinde,
official
Vishal
photographer
Shinde.
today. And this also. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, no.
So just come here. Hold on. Okay. Okay. So, thank you all, and I think it was a very first successful meeting, and we will wish Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar a very successful US tour and a success in his political life that is just embarked on. So thank you, and wish you good luck, Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar, and thank you, Boston, for all the help. Okay, bye bye.
So we'll be around. You can